Karibuni sana guys, welcome to another episode of Real and Raw. My name is Stella Kareo and Nikona, fantastic, beautiful guest over here.
Me too much.
Please introduce, girl.
My name is Oduor-Noah and yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, Aki Karibu. Oh, girl. If this is your first time to see this show, Karibu sana, make sure that you subscribe right here. And if you're part of the family, kama kawaida, Karibu sana, make sure that you're part of this conversation. Comment below, please. Even the ones that you don't think are making sense at that time, please.
Just say what is on your heart.
Just say it.
Yeah.
Say it, man. Say it.
Right here.
So today we are going to get right into it. A very interesting topic. Okay, all our topics are interesting, but this one, guys, you are not ready.
Hey.
Don't settle.
Don't do it.
Don't settle, ladies.
Don't do it.
Don't settle.
Please.
In relationships.
Huh? Not for
I
the
hope
bare
you've
minimum.
had. Yes.
Don't do it. Don't do it. You know that movie, Tyler Perry, where the guy's holding up the sign saying, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
What does it actually mean to settle?
Wow.
Because very many people might actually have very different variations.
Of what that looks like. Yeah, that's true.
So for me, settling means that that you're getting accustomed to the atmosphere or the person that you're with, even though you know that there's something wrong, even though you know that there's something missing. That is what settling is.
I think for me, it's like the idea of how someone is like, I'm a good guy. But then now, especially in the church circles, good is supposed to be the normal.
Yes.
What happens after that? Who are you apart from the normal? So how do I know you're going to stand out differently?
Yeah.
And it's not to be like a grading system.
Yeah.
It's more like, what makes you different from, okay, yeah, I go to church. Okay, yeah, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
And then? Yeah, so it's like, I think also just settling for the bare minimum, which also means like, okay, yeah, he's nice to me. Or yeah, he's kind. Okay. Yeah, I see him sometimes, but then like only in the evenings.
Yeah.
You seeing like zooming at my face at this point? No, what is like? No, like it's a standard, and you're here, but you're like, this is the most I can take. This is good enough.
Yeah.
But maybe we're not built for good enough, Yeah. So yeah, that's what it is to me.
That's settling, guys. And the thing is that a lot of us, Kwanzaa ladies, we do it because we feel that society has told us, ladies, you always have this kind of standard and your standards are too high. You need to lower them. But sometimes that lowering, please, it just goes a bit too low, Maka, it becomes something else.
Yeah.
Like she's saying, he's a nice guy, but then pata he has some other very weird character flaws.
Girl!
Question mark. Question.
And the thing is, like, you find yourself, you start there with that bare minimum, but then now let's say you get married and that bare minimum continues in a deeper commitment.
Quisha.
What happens there?
Yeah.
Will you resign yourself to that and then live a life that's this much of what it could have been?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you live with that regret, That's more painful,
It is. It is.
Life painfully lived.
It is. So, there's a reason why we get into these bad relationships. And we're talking about mamas over here. There's a reason why. It's not that it just happens at you, just like that.
There are many reasons why.
And one of the things that I think that, and I know we've not talked about, but it's been mentioned before, like daddy issues.
Oh, yeah.
Daddy issues that it's come from you not really having a relationship with your
father.
dad, or your dad has been like an absentee dad. He was really not there, you know.
Yeah.
And all along you've been looking for this masculine person to show you love, to fill that gap that your dad, did not feel for you.
Right.
And then you end up meeting this guy,
right,
who seems like he fits that box, but because of some things that you didn't learn in the past, you end up picking very funny people.
Or you end up just looking for someone who fills that image of, because you have to now, because he's not been there, you have to create some idea of what a good father looks like. So you end up imagining someone, and whoever fits that bill, you'll take, you know? Even if they're not necessarily good for you, or I guess well suited to you, you know? So I think daddy issues is one. I think I'm gonna flip the coin and say also mother wounds.
Yes. Yes.
Because the way you're loved by your mother, I guess someone had told me once was, father can represent foundations and things like that, but mother represents intimacy and the way you interact with people in relationships. So the way you can have mother wounds, looking for someone to now, like let's say with your mom, it's affirmation, you know, you're beautiful, it's la la la. Someone who fills that void, you know, in that way, you know, who meets that level of intimacy you're looking for, you know, or even settling for relationships where they're not necessarily the best for you, but they meet the places where you've had trauma. You know? There's now even trauma is another one. You know, so the experience of what relationships has been around you. You know, let's say you've seen men in your family who provide but are not emotionally available.
Whoa.
So you end up looking for someone who's exactly
like that.
Or falling for people who are like that because that's what you know, not because it's necessarily what you want.
Ooh.
Right?
Yes.
So you or even men who, yes, they're emotionally available but lack ambition or drive. It becomes a story for, not that I'm hating on Christians, but it becomes a story for God will provide. No, He will provide also, but He's asking you also to work. Take responsibility. Take ownership. So you end up looking for what you know instead of necessarily going back to heal those places where it's been like, I shouldn't have. Or let's say my aunties went through this with their husbands, or I've seen my sisters in certain marriages. And even if not them, even my friends, the stories you hear around you, this is what they've been through. What will be different for me?
Yes,
you know?
Exactly. And also the other thing is that you make this person like your dad. You daddify them, or you mummify them, you know? You begin to treat them as sort of like, not like a parent, but they begin to assume that role. And like she said, sometimes you actually need to look at your family members.
Oh, yeah.
Your aunties, your mom, you know, the ladies in your family. What are the patterns that are there? Because if you're not careful, the same thing is going to repeat itself.
And whether spiritual patterns, emotional patterns, like I wonder if people ask themselves, what does being loved well look like to me or to us? You know, what does being loved well look like in this family? Is it that, like for instance, for us guys, it might be sometimes someone might be working in the same room with you, but you're spending time together. Not necessarily just sitting and talking. It's time. So that's, for me, I know that's being loved well means giving me time. So what does it look like for you? You know, what does small things, like it's like, okay, you wake up, someone has left you breakfast, even though they've gone to work etc. You're like, wow, you actually thought to leave me food. That means being loved well. So what does being loved well mean to you that will prevent you from settling, I guess?
And you see, the thing is that we need to deal with these issues before you get into relationships. Because if you get into a relationship with these issues and you settle, you're a child. And the fruit of your relationship.
It's called copy-paste, one like that.
And it will become worse and worse and worse.
And that's terrifying because you see, people say it's called a love child. This is a child who you brought into this world willingly. You wanted this child, right? But then you come with the stuff, like you replicate, let's say, that thing for, I provide for you, but I don't show up for you. And then you wonder why this kid is not understanding. But then even you, it's because you didn't understand. They weren't emotionally available for me. So I've just replicated, I presented them the same case of, I guess, a life suitcase that was handed to me. Now I'm telling them, here. But then it's like, this is not effective. And then, you know, you find it very interesting when you confront that idea of intimacy. Because now you're like,
kuna venye.
And this kid will probably tell you, seeing the day and age we're in.
Kids are very expressive, and you know they are with.
And
they'll
there's
tell
so
you.
much more awareness on relational health and wealth, and mental and emotional health and wealth.
Exactly.
So before you even get to the conversation that you have to have with your child, have it with yourself, and then figure it out what it will look like with your partner. Because now when you get into a relationship, they're also coming with their own
Baggage.
stereotypes, baggage,
Yes.
and experiences
Yeah.
of what love and being loved well looks like.
Yeah.
I guess that's why all that love languages stuff now comes into account.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. It's rough. It's rough things. But it's good work.
Yes. Women use this phrase, he's going to change.
Oh.
Ama, he's changing.
How? In the back. Look.
He's in the process of changing, or he's going to change. I know he's going to change because you're in his life, so he's going to change.
Why? What if he doesn't? And what if the change is, what's it called? It's like a mask. So when he's with other people, the mask is on, and guys be like, oh, you have such a great husband.
He's the guy, you know.
Look at your boyfriend, you see, oh, behind closed doors.
He's somebody else.
Those are the people who create cognitive dissonance. You think it is one way, but it's actually this way. And then you're caught in between.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
No.
Question.
Because you have no power at all. Let me repeat this. You have no power at all to change a person. You cannot say, sasa hivi, kutoka saa hii, you will do this.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
You can probably even that person is trying to be, to sort of like morph themselves to your surrounding or to your environment. But the thing is that they can't keep up that lifestyle.
And at some point, whether it's in a year or in 2 years or 50, you start seeing that person. And then you're like, cracks. You know that don't feel like that meme for the guy who done. Like, what? Girl, question.
Question. Anakuanga hivi. Yeah.
Wait, then you go to someone, is he really like, they probably, and that's the flip side, people were probably telling you they're like this the whole time.
That's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. People outside, and sometimes in a relationship, you're so, umelabomiwa. The only thing you're seeing is,
that's it.
Yeah. Oh. The only thing you're seeing is this dude, he's amazing. Oh my God, he's the one that I've been looking for. And people around you are telling you, by the way, this guy, there's something that's not right. But you, because you're super convinced that, you know what, we are going to do this, you stay.
Yeah.
And then 2 years down the line, it becomes
something else.
It becomes something else. You're like, me, I don't even know who's in my house.
And I think at the core of anything, we only have enough power to make decisions for ourselves, right? Especially for people who are watching this and are Christian. Yeah. You report God's child to his father.
Yes.
First. Before you are trying to go and say, you need to go do, you need to. Yeah. No, now it becomes like that parentification thing that we're talking about. And that's not what you're supposed to be to the person.
Yes.
You're not supposed to be there trying to put an imaginary emotional leash on someone.
An imaginary emotional leash.
Because at the end of the day, when that person is over it, they'll be over it the minute you start saying you need to, you end up becoming, you start telling the person that you love telling you're like my mother. But not in the way that it's like, oh man, I remember the caring, tenderness.
Yes.
Like, unaniambia kama mimi ni teenager.
Exactly. Yeah.
No. Yeah. That's not what it's supposed to look like, at least not to me.
Yeah. Exactly. So let us just be aware.
Yeah.
And all these like red flags, nini. I know they've been said so many times, but they are there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not this guy will be Prince Charming and then all of a sudden he's a devil. No. All those signs were there, but small, very small, but it's just that you want either interested
or you just were like, you were too distracted.
You are just like, it's okay. Yeah. It's fine, we all have issues.
And you see, there's a difference. There's red flags, which are like, heck no.
Yeah.
And then there are yellow flags, which are things where you're like, this could be a problem. Is it something that we can have a conversation about?
And work on.
Yeah,
exactly.
Both of us.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I'm like, don't cancel every person out because there's something wrong with them.
Yeah, because you're not also perfect.
Exactly. And that's why that whole idea for what does being loved will look like to you, and can this person, can they learn?
Yeah.
Are you willing to teach them at the same time? Because, like I said, whole different person, whole different set of experiences. So, look out for the red flags, look out for the yellow ones, and then the things that actually cue you into, okay, this person can actually be suitable to me.
Yeah. But there are, other than like those inside factors, there are outside factors that can cause people to enter into actually bad relationships.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think it's like wrong friends, just the wrong people in your life.
Ooh.
You know, people who are just, you know, be like, oh, by the way, I think this guy will be like the right match for you.
Kumbe, you're going this way, him is going this way.
You're two different paths.
To the left. To the left.
Yeah, yeah. So like your friends can really, and you know, sometimes when people torture you, even sometimes when there's nothing, you start feeling something for that person.
Questioning, do I actually have feelings for? No, I'm fine. No, wait.
It's hype, guys.
See, don't believe the hype. It's like it's hype. In what movie is this? I think it's called Bolt. The guy says, oh, that's a great idea. Let me take a pin. Let's put a pin in it. There we go. That's what you gotta do. Okay, put a pin in it. Like this, just say, that's cute, but it's wrong.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Friends, one, I think also considering your upbringing. Right. Especially with the idea of concept of trauma. In many ways, we are not sure how trauma has impacted us, or even what you conceive as trauma. It might not be necessarily a whack experience or something crazy, but it might just be emotional things, right? Like what I was saying, the thing for someone who might provide, but is not emotionally available, not because that's a mistake, but it's just now you understand love as provision.
Wow.
Right? So what does that now, how can you also work on yourself and be like, no, but I need someone who's going to be present. And what if that's what's important to you? You know? So you end up going with someone who, yes, they are completely financially stable, it's solid, but then you are alone in that relationship.
Peke yako.
Alone.
Solo
bones. Solo bones. But you must ask yourself, like, what, whether seemingly, not even in terms of size, but what have I experienced beforehand, before this person, before, just as myself, that makes me question, I guess, my suitability or even another person's in relationship, because it's not just them who's coming in, even you.
Yes,
you know?
So, it's two people coming together.
Exactly. So I think trauma and friendships, wrong community. If you have the wrong people around you, your relationship can either go up or go down.
And you've talked about trauma. There's this, it's actually my bro who sent me this post on TikTok. I don't know if this mama is like a psychiatrist or something, but I'll also, I'll link it up. And she was saying that people who, if you find that you're a person who keeps on watching the same movie or the same series over and over again, you're probably somebody who experienced trauma.
Yes.
And you're trying to control, you know, you try to control circumstances, and that's why you keep on watching the same thing, because you know what's going to happen.
Right. And you can predict.
And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yani, it's so crazy until it actually becomes part of your behavior.
That's the thing. And that's what I was saying about how you might not even think it is trauma.
Yeah.
Because let's say it was, you're still in your head, you're like, my dad still provided for us. We were still stable, etc.
Yeah.
But then now you're like, but what I actually wanted wasn't just provision, or someone who would be like, maybe you're a words of affirmation person. Someone would be like, you're doing so well.
Yeah,
you know? That time you've not had it for your whole life. And you might find that also you overcompensate. That's the other flip side, you know? So you enter a relationship and you're the one who's like, give. Then you're like, okay, I'm done. Because the other person has no idea that you've grown up in a setting, or you've had something happen to you where now you're like, I will overcompensate how much I give to you because I don't want you to leave me.
What's that one? I don't want you to leave me, so I will
the fear
try everything.
Of abandonment.
Yes.
So that's even another factor, you know? Because you're like, you get into relationships where you're like, I'll always stay, I'll be the good one, I'll take the heat, whatever.
Yeah.
That time you're just being done for like this, left, right, center, you know?
And that's the thing, that you even end up getting more hurt in that relationship, because you're even if this guy, that's why you even find that in some relationships, even mamas who are being even chapwad, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to stay because maybe, you know, yes, he has a problem, but you're going to work on it. And
that's what they know also.
You know, it's your life now that is in, you know, in the line.
And they won't choose to leave. Because that's what they know.
Exactly.
And you see, then there's the flip side of that saying, which would be like, better the devil you know than the one you don't. Like, angel you know than the devil you don't, you know? And for some people, it's harder to leave a situation like that because you leave and then what? What life are you going to build? For some people, that's the only life they know.
No,
Yeah? So, and then you now who's outside and you've seen this your whole life, it also impacts the way you choose people.
Yeah.
Whether you're a guy or a babe.
Yeah.
Imagine you've seen, let's say, your dad beating your mom, or even the flip side where your mom is aggressive.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You might find a guy who's a nice guy keeps choosing crazy women. Crazy people who throw plates at you.
And he's a nice,
and it doesn't compute how he keeps choosing people like that.
Yeah.
Or someone who might have, like, let's say, a dad who was on and off again. You might find they're extremely controlling, extremely aggressive in that factor of like, you can only do this. Can we only meet at this time? I'm only free at this time. If you don't meet my bye, you become a hyper thing for no, you can't meet this, you can't blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And you end up thinking that you're like, no, I'm hardcore, I'm perfect, I'm la like this, but you're like, you really have some huge walls that you don't want to let anyone in because you're like, I know you can hurt me, stay away from me. Don't come here. So you end up focusing the relationship you might want just because the person isn't necessarily meeting your standards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, so like we have this thing of mama saying, you know me, I like bad boys. You need to check that, girl. Check it.
Listen.
You know me, I just like, please. It can actually be a pattern that you have that probably has come from your past or has come from your childhood or your upbringing that is reflecting in your relationship. So stop this thing of, you know me, it's just bad boys. You know, guys who are like, no,
and
it's
also,
a type.
Like, consider who your male friends are. And also, if you have brothers and uncles or people who have been like fathers to you, how do they treat you? And then examine how this human who is trying to walk into your life is treating you. Because, let me give an example. My brother, even when I was a teenager, used to stand on the other side of me when I was crossing the road, or even when the stand on the side of my bag. And I'm like, oh, at first then I didn't understand, but he's like, it's protective maneuver.
Yes.
I'm supposed to be someone who just will walk ahead and leave me walking in the town. I mean, this is a very basic example.
Yes.
But yeah,
I get the point.
Or even people who will correct you in a way that it's not to be like you're doing the wrong thing or be daddy figures to you, but people, how do they treat you? Examine how the men in your life treat you, like the healthy relationships that you have with guys, even with women. You know, like how you treat each other as friends and your community. That should also be a cue to how you pick the person you're also going to be with. Because remember, they're going to come into this relationship and be in that community as well. Yes.
Yeah. So lastly, what does God say about this? What does His word, when you're talking about things like trauma and identity, it's in Psalms it says that He knew you before you were knit in your mother's womb, and that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And even before, like, you were placed in this world, He held your life in the palm of His hand. So that means that regardless of what you have been through or what you encountered in your childhood, whether it was you know, having a mom who's aggressive, like she said, or having daddy issues, an absentee dad, it doesn't mean that is where you'll conform, that is where your life will fit in. It just means that was a part of your life that you went through. It was an experience, but you can walk towards a healthier lifestyle, you know. You can walk towards a better path. So don't stay there, don't stay in that box, because God knew you, you know, and He can be able to strip, you know, all of those things that you have, those baggages,
those memories.
Yes, those things, He can strip them off you, and that He can make you new, you know, and renew your mind with His word. So
like, even if you take it a step further, it says, I think in Isaiah, you're engraved on the palm of His hand. You know, so there's the idea of like, not only does He know you, but He knew your name. Like, so He operates in specificity, you know, specific. So He's like, you may have gone through these things, but also He's not afraid of your pain.
Wow.
God will sit with you when you're going through that healing process. He doesn't abandon you. And I think also we need to remove the idea of that we have to go to Him and be like, yeah, God, this hurts, but you know, I surrender. It's okay. No, like, be like,
if you need to actually cry,
I'm angry that I went through that. You know, I don't understand why I had to. You know, let Him actually be that relationship that you're like, I can be that vulnerable with you. Even before I want to be with another person, you know. I can be that open with you. So that even you see that in that relationship, you see it in the relationships. It's like vertical, horizontal.
Yes. You can see it in your other relationships.
Exactly. So that even it starts to govern even how you work with your community, and then go into now an isolated, or I guess not isolated, but now into a private relationship, you know, so that even that standard of vulnerability is the same. And even then, you'll be able to measure if someone is not going to be that available to you.
Yes, girl.
So, yeah, he says you are engraved on the palm of his hand. And then the flip side also, where David says, you know, if I go anywhere, I can't hide from you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I cannot run from your presence. Even when I go in the depths of hell itself.
Exactly. So, look at, even when you're examining the person you want to be with, like, God, I'm not hiding this person from you. You know who this person is. Tell me about them. Tell me, even as they're showing me, if it's a mask, tell me. You know, tell
show
me if there's
me.
something. You know, speak to me.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be there in the relationship as well.
Amen.
Yeah.
And finally, the last one that I'd like to say is fear. Don't be afraid to face the stuff that you need to face. And I know sometimes going back, it's such a yucky, messy, it's horrible, it's not fun. But he said that he's not given us a spirit of fear, but that of
soundness of mind.
Yes, power, love, and a sound mind. So please, if you need to go back and sort yourself out before you actually enter into a relationship, please do so. Do it. Because it will literally, it will save you. Yeah. It will save you.
Over.
Yes, it will save you.
And it's not even to discourage you about entering the relationship. It's about knowing yourself as well. Yeah. You know, so that you can even say, you know, I have a problem. I get triggered when you say certain things. You know? Not because you're a bad person, but because this is what has happened to me. You know, and that also smoothens out so many other things that you could be talking about even when you're considering dating a person.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Guys, we are done. If this has struck a chord, and we actually we'll just do like a short prayer for probably people who are, maybe you're in a relationship right now, you've already entered that relationship and you don't even know how to come out, or there is a relationship that you are seeing but you are not quite sure about this person, you are, you know, very unsure. We just want to pray with you. We want to stand with you in faith that even through this, that God will direct you, he will instruct you, but he will also heal you, you know. Absolutely. If there's trauma in your life, that, you know, you would meet the healer and that you would have a relationship that is vulnerable and that is open.
And he can redeem that, you know.
So I'll pray first.
Okay. Let's pray. I guess you can say the prayer in your own way at home. But yeah, dear God, I come to you with everything that I am, and I lay it before you because you see all things. You knew me and you wrought me together in my mother's womb. You see the places where I don't even know that I'm hurting. You see the places that I know that I've been hurt. But I ask that you, who is a redeemer and a healer, would come in and that you'd come and take residence in those places. Yes, Lord. And bind up the wounds. You say that you bind up the wounds of the brokenhearted. Yes, Lord. I pray that you would come and heal those places in my heart, heal those places in my mind, that you'd restore, oh God, and renew my mind to see what true relationship and true love looks like with you first, with myself as well, and with others, that I may be an emblem and an example of what healthy relationships can also look like. Yes, Lord. I also ask that you would come in, oh God, and just take residence in my heart over all, because you are my Father, and you know me most intimately. May you come in and just build a relationship, do it anew, oh God. Build a relationship that I've never seen before, that would then extend out of me. Yeah, in Jesus' name I pray.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, guys, for taking the time to watch. Please
for being here.
Make sure you drop your comments. We'd love to hear what you have to say. We'd love to even hear if there are probably things that you're struggling with.
Even if you think differently.
Yeah, please. Hapo tu chini. God bless you. Bye. Until next time.